Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? Happy Fed Day. Hey, Mike, how are you? Good afternoon, if it's afternoon where you are. What's up, Raj? Hey, Jerry. What's up, Shanghai? How you doing? Hey, Tim. Welcome to the folks joining us on YouTube. Good to have you all with us. And welcome to Wednesday, the 17th of September. Blowing through September like at 100 miles an hour here. Did I like the liquidation, AO? Well, I don't know, man. We're still inside yesterday's day. There's a little bit of liquidation, which is good. We need more. Like farmers, we need rain. So let's go take a look and see what we can shake out this morning. I've already taken a trade, believe it or not. I've been using these balance zones to build positions. But so overnight inventory is short. The bulk of the trading, at least 70% of it, is underneath the previous day's close. Wait, I've got the close in the wrong place, don't I? Okay, so probably about 60% short, right? And I took a long, and I'll show you what I did. It was just a couple of contracts, built a little position and sold it as it went up. So inside day so far, we're inside yesterday's range. We're inside, well, we were inside yesterday's value. Now we're a little bit underneath it. We're at the bottom of the cost basis for yesterday. Haven't taken out yesterday's low. Let's see if that happens. Right. Kind of a lackluster day. Margin is increased. Right. We have margin increased because it's a Fed day. Right. Hey, Alexander, what's going on? Hey, Lonigan. So, yeah, a little bit, you know, hopefully after this Fed decision, we'll get a little up down and maybe some liquidation. We'll get better price action. That would be nice. Be really nice to get a little bit of movement in this thing again. Let's see what happens. Okay. So here we are. Inventory is short. It's now starting to correct up. What I did was I was just buying contracts here and here and selling them into this strength. Very simple, right? Just working the both sides of the balance zone like a market maker would, except I wasn't two-sided. I wasn't shorting and then buying back. All I was doing was just I'm a buyer under 65. I was buying 63, 64. As soon as it goes up, sell it, right? Pretty simple, right? It's a way to make money. Um, and it's something that we've been talking about and something we've been discussing is how to build positions and sell those positions into strength, right? or build short positions and cover them into weakness. It's a little harder building short positions because you've got to really, really watch out where the seller is. If you misjudge where the seller is on shorting, especially in this market at all-time highs, it gets ugly, and then everybody starts crying and whining. So, um, you know, short the backfill, not a problem. Go position short. Your timing and your capital has to be pretty damn good. So we are correcting inventory upward. You'll be looking for, where's our next upper stop is at 69. Sorry, we just double the zones. That's your playing field for this morning. Hey, Mother Truck, what's going on? You spoke to your people at BlackRock to sell the E-mini? Well, that's very good. uh, hey, Brad, good morning. What was it? This was like 5 years ago. We came up with this idea of having pizzas delivered to BlackRock with listening devices inside the pizza boxes. Uh, all right, as we creep up to VWAP, of course, we at the Trading Syndicate do not condone any illegal activity. Just joking around for all the three-letter agencies that are listening. Yeah, it's pretty cold and wet here in Liverpool. Summer is shut off. That's okay. Never gets that cold here. We're creeping up to VWAP, folks, so if you're long, that is one of the destinations that you will be unloading some inventory. So say if you are long like I was, 64, 65, you'd be selling into these 68s. Make sure you're offered so you can sell your goods, right? Oh, is it supposed to be nice this weekend? Oh, that's cool. I don't really know what people in the UK complain about. The weather's really not that bad here at all. Okay, and we've slowed to a crawl. One of the little things that I saw this morning was that Jay couldn't take out the I low or the overnight low, so I knew we'd get some rotation upwards because inventory was short. Pretty simple trading this morning, folks. You either don't trade or you build positions. That's really, those are your options. Right. One is if you don't have a large account, and of course if you can't pay more margin, then just leave it alone. After 2 o'clock, life should be better. Any questions? Anybody awake? I figure if it's going to be slow like this today, we'll do about half an hour. We'll wait for the session to open, and if it's moving really, really slow, we'll just let everybody go early. Don't want to torture you folks. Am I thinking about a Zoom meeting tonight? Nobody asks. You guys are pretty non-responsive, so maybe it's because I'm asking at the wrong time and no one's had any caffeine. I said yesterday, I said yeah, and then nobody said anything. So, right? I bring these things up to see if anybody responds, right? And if I say, hey, you guys want me to do a Zoom session at 2 p.m.? And I go, and then nobody says anything, so I'm like, okay, I guess they're not interested, right? It's a pretty dead room lately, you know? Uh, so let's see what they say. Otherwise, you end up being like that comedian in the really, really decrepit Las Vegas casino where nobody goes to, and you're standing there like in this old tuxedo telling bad jokes, and there's like one person who's like half drunk, slumped over in the corner. That's what I feel like sometimes with you guys. So, you know, we'll see. All right, we're creeping up to VWAP. We're creeping up to VWAP. Oh, that's good, Mike. Trading momentum is hard in a market that is choppy, you know. A lot of people used to trade momentum, especially when it was more human based, because, you know, human emotion would create that momentum. Now that we have it's all computerized trading, it's not bad, it's just you just have to change your approach a little bit. That's all, you know. The volume's really light this morning. 26,000 contracts. Rollover's probably almost done. We should be three times or at least two or three times the volume of the old contract, which I think is done on Friday, right? Yeah, that's an interesting thought. You need the momentum to get you out of trouble. This way you have better trade location. That's the hardest thing is that trade location and timing is, you know, that's the thing that but once you understand where the trades are, then you can kind of sit around and wait for them instead of chasing them. Because chasing trades is the worst and you're always tired. Like it's mentally exhausting. Hey, Juan, how are you? Yeah, the my analogy is chasing trades is like working with a sketchy corporate securities lawyer. You're always chasing them, and you never really know what they're up to. And it's mentally exhausting, right? Almost three times now the contracts in December. Okay, cool. And there's VWAP. We've hit VWAP, folks. Expect a little bit of resistance here. Look how small the candles are. I mean, this is the only way you can trade this is to build a little position here and sell it here. That's really all you can do. Yeah, Dave, definitely get some rest, brother. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time, which I'm not sure what time that is in Australia for you. Hey, John, what's going on? 11 p.m. Yeah, just get some sleep. Not worth being up. Yeah, higher margin, so there's less people participating tonight, right? That kind of puts a little hitch in our giddy up, right? Less people, and nobody's going to be putting on size before an FOMC meeting, especially the day of. So, hey Juan, Alberto, how are you? And like I said, folks, I won't torture you too long with this session. We'll see if London opens and we get that move. The next target on the upside is the close, which is just at 66, 69 and three quarter, and then 71 quarter, then 73. Just in relax mode, that's a good mode to be in, John. The majority is on the new contract now. Let me show you. So here you could see there's the old contract, 12,422. The new contract is 33,575. So old contract is almost done. We say goodbye to September forever. Yeah, these are not. It's always good to stop trading for a while, John. Everybody does it. I know when I stop trading and come back to it, even if it's for a day or two or just to get a bit of a break, it it clears your head. Really clears the head. And especially when these markets change the way they have, and they kind of move around like this. It's not easy. Creeping past VWAP. There's that stop at 69. Let's see if we can get up over the close. This is like watching a snail cross the sidewalk. Yeah, it's a good time to reset, right, Dave? Right before the last quarter of the year. So generally what I do is before the last quarter of the year, I just kind of have a ritual where I look and see, what have I done wrong this year? What have I done right? What can I improve on? For me, it's discipline, right? For me, generally, it always comes down to discipline in my trading. Um, and that's actually the discipline to sit and take the trade instead of like going, ugh, right? Yeah, tempo has been very, very slow, which is to be expected, right, Raj? I mean, it's a Fed day. I mean, you can say Fed day until I'm blue in the face, but it's really hard for people to realize how this business works unless they've worked in it, or even understand how money managers think, right? And nobody's going to position themselves a week or two before the Fed. They're going to let that happen and then start positioning. It just doesn't make any sense. Yes, John, we do live in an ever changing daily world and the markets change. Sometimes they change every day, right? That's why retail trading is one of the hardest jobs in finance. And that's why if you want to be a retail trader, it's a crap ton of work, right? I mean, if you want to be successful at it, right? You know, I admit it's hard to concentrate on stuff every single day. But when it's your living, you will, right? That's why we have to adapt, improvise, and overcome, right? You have to adapt your trading methodology to the order flow at the time. You have to adapt at manage your expectations to what the business is at the time. That's why you have to look at trading like a business, right? And make good business decisions. If you don't, if you look at it like a gambler, or if you look at it like, you're going to Ladbrokes, it's a different story, right? And some days, and we are really like fishermen. Some days you go fishing, there's no fish, right? And what you do on those days is you try and keep your expenses down, so you try not to lose a lot of money, right? And then the market will change, and you'll spend all this time trying to figure out how to trade it, and just when you do, it changes again. So what that means is you have certain types of trades for certain different markets. You have scalping for a certain type of market. You have position building for a certain type of market. And then you have minding your own business in a certain type of market, right? Sometimes there's business going on, right, where it's none of your business, right? Sometimes it's wholesale business taking place and you've got no business being in there. And that's the problem. People don't understand that. And that's a hard lesson to learn. And people are stubborn, so they get stopped out, they go back in. They go stopped out, they go back in. They get stopped out, they go back in. And they wonder what's going on, but it's because they don't understand the underlying business. It is not a scalping market, John, right? You're joining us late, and that's what I said at the beginning of this video. What I said was it's not a scalping market. So you have to build positions and sell them into strength, right? Because there's no follow through for scalpers right now. Your scalp has to be perfect. It has to be perfectly timed, right? So it's very hard to trade and have perfect timing, right? See ya, Jerry. Yeah, there's nothing to do right now. I'm just waiting till London opens and see if anything happens, then I'll shut her down. How to find out quick right now that it's not time to trade? Well, Howard, why don't you tell us? Right? You've been with us for a while now, Howard. What do we talk about? So, Howard, what day is it? Let's start really. Let's do a checklist. Okay? Step 1, step 2, step 3, right? Howard, stay with me. What day is it? What kind of day is it today? Right? What kind of what when you're trading at night, right, for you, right? So it's a Globex session. Step 1. What's kind of special about today? Today's a Fed day. Step 2. What time of the day is it? Right? It's Globex, right? Step 3. Are margins higher? Right? Yes, right? Okay. So that's the base. That's like looking outside and seeing, okay, this is the weather report for the day. So before a Fed day, right? How much follow through do you expect? None, right? Now, go look at the candles, Howard, right? Look at these candles, right? You don't even have to look at the TPO, right? Look at this. Is this tradable if you're scalping? Howard, do we lose you? The areas that I've circled on my chart, is that tradable? Look at this. Okay, so you don't even need to place your entry, Howard, to know that that's not a tradable. Is it tradable here? Look how small the candles are, Howard. London's opening. Let's see what it does. Right? It's not. So now you know. Don't trade. Right? Would I be turning to swing trading before a Fed meeting, John? No. The type of trading that I would do, like I said when I started this video, right, would be to build a position and sell into strength. And I've been talking about that all week. No, no, John. I would just build positions because I'm trained to make money quickly. I'm not trained to be in trades for a long period of time, right? That's why I'll buy 10 contracts between 64 and 66 and sell those 10 contracts between 67 and 68. Does that make sense? It's less capital and time intensive and you can still make money, right? So for Howard, for you, do not trade. And remember what we've been talking about, Howard, right? Do you remember what we spoke about yesterday and the day before? I want you to revisit that, my friend. Okay? Okay. So you guys, Here's what I see, okay? You guys ask questions, but don't listen to the answers. So there's a reason why you guys are not listening and tuning me out. I'm not talking to the folks on YouTube. I'm talking to the people in my room, okay? There's a reason that you guys, like, you'll ask questions, but I seem to be repeating myself over and over again. So is there a reason why you're not listening? What can I do as an educator to help you listen? They don't like the answers. Oh, okay. Well, thanks, AO. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Oh, well, I can't do anything about that. Okay, that makes life a lot easier. They just don't like what I'm saying. Cool. All right. Thank you, sir. Well said. They don't like the answers. Okay. That makes my job a lot easier. Whew. Got it. Yeah. A little look below and fail of 66 and three quarter. Let's see what happens here. Have we found bids? Have we found bids? You guys aren't listening. I can tell you guys aren't listening. It's just, you just don't like what I'm saying, so you tune it out. uh, Good to know. Thanks, AO. Very useful, my friend. Very useful. Rubbish? I don't know, John. I don't know. I don't think it's rubbish. Not from my perspective, my friend. Not from my perspective, because I seem to be repeating myself to the same people over and over and over again. And it's it's interesting. So I'm trying to figure out why they're not listening. Oh yeah, yeah. No, trading on a Fed day is closer we get to the decision is harder and harder and harder. Let's see if we can take out those. We see they have sellers right now at the close, right? They're all parked here at the close. So until we see enough buyers come in, those sellers will not raise their price up to 71 and a quarter. No, John, I don't recommend that you build positions. I recommend that you sit and watch and maybe learn how to build positions on the sim instead of trading real money. Right? Now, you're wondering how do you build positions? I have done multiple videos on it, John. I've talked about it multiple times, but you got to go watch those videos, my friend. Okay? Hey, Blues Queen, how you doing? Creeping up on the close. It's pretty slow now. Ugh. No, it's just chopping. you don't want to be building positions at where you're supposed to be selling. You're supposed to be building positions here and selling here, right? That's how business works, right? Buy it cheap, sell it for a profit. So now, when they run out of buyers, it'll come back down under 66. And if it does this look below and fail, then you can maybe start building positions here again. That's what I've been saying, John. I've been saying that for people where the LBF doesn't work, where scalping is difficult because there's no follow through, because it's a Fed day, and I'll say that until I'm blue in the face, right? You should be practicing how to build positions. And I have put out video upon video, document upon document on how to do it over and over and over again. And the key thing to building positions is that you cannot freeze. You have to be able to cut and add contracts. So you need an account that can bear that business expense. Otherwise, you're just wasting money, right? Because you have to be able to take a business loss, right? And if you can't take the loss, don't build positions because it's another level of business, right? The one thing that traders have a really hard time accepting is sometimes there's nothing here for you, right? Because you see movement, right? See you, Dave. Feel better, brother, right? But sometimes you just have to realize, and it's a hard realization to sit in front of a computer and spend time and realize I'm not going to make any money today. That's how finance works. Some days you don't make any money, right? It's not a bank machine, right? It's a business. So even myself, sometimes you will work on a deal for 3 months, 6 months, the deal will go public, and the deal will fail. Nobody wants to buy the stock, right? It's very hard to tell yourself there's nothing for you there today, but that's what a responsible business person does, Howard. So for example, let me put it to you this way, Howard, if you were running a bakery, right? Right? So here, say you were a baker, Howard, and you made bread, right? And you baked some bread and nobody came and bought it. Are you going to light yourself on fire and light the bakery on fire and burn the thing to the ground? Thanks, Mike. Coming down to the pocket? No, no, no. The point of control just tells you whether or not how the distribution and accumulation of inventory is going, Tim, right? So you're not going to burn the bakery down. Like, Howard, you go into work, right? When you have a bad day at work, Howard, do you go and shoot your manager and light the office building on fire? You don't because you get a paycheck, right? Whether you do a good job or not, you're still going to get paid, right? Whether business is bad or good, you're going to get paid. If business is really bad, they're going to lay you off and they're going to fire you, right? But in trading, that is amplified, right? In trading, you are a small business owner. So you have to have some sense of responsibility to realize when you should be doing business and when you shouldn't be doing business. That is a basic principle of business. So you should not have the desire to trade. Like when I look at this chart, the last thing I want to do is try scalping, right? Like I came in and I looked at this chart and I said, "Oh, let me try building a position." That worked. Am I going to do it over and over again? No, because the conditions aren't right, right? So, do I look at these choppy candles? Does that make me want to trade? Do I know someone else is making money? Yes. Citadel is making money, but they're a multi-billion dollar institution. I am a retail trader, right? I am a fly on the ass of an elephant. Sometimes there's just nothing to eat. That's why we always stress that you should have different sources of income and never quit your job and want to trade full time because that is a fallacy. Sometimes, especially in these markets, the way they're structured, it's not built for retail to make money. Sometimes there's wholesale business and sometimes there is retail business. Right now, this is wholesale business. So you have to trade way less and size down if you're going to trade, and you have to be smart about it, right? You just can't. It's you know it's you have to have some kind of common sense, right? It's important, right? Take the bite at the beginning of the day so you're not looking at a blown up account at the end of the day. Right? At some point, you have to realize that you're doing business. If you can't realize that you're doing business, because some people unfortunately have a gambler's, there is, and then you should maybe seek help for that. If you're having gambling problems or addiction problems where you can't stop trading, right? CVS, have a good one, right? I'm speaking to trading psychology here, and let's use trading psychology in a practical way. So if you look at a come in and you look at a chart like that, you're like, holy crap, what a choppy mess. You look at your inbox, you see that your brokerage firm has told you that it costs a lot more to trade a micro today. Maybe you take the morning off, right, Howard? Now there should be nothing in those two statements that make you want to trade. Does that make sense? And Mike, you said something very true. Everyone's looking for home runs, right? But they don't understand that you have to try and make a little bit of money every day. And if you can't make a little bit of money every day, put your stuff away and get out, right? Yeah, that's really hard. Not trading but still being there to learn what's going on is very hard for a lot of people. That's surprisingly hard for a lot of people. I don't understand it because I was raised in the business, so I'm trying to understand it to help other people stop doing that, right? Right. Yeah, knowing how to make 2 points 10 times a day is a lot better than looking for that 2 point trade. Yeah. Oh, I hope this has been helpful. Hey, you try, right? Right. And you guys, the other thing too is everyone is so short-sighted about this business, right? Everyone is really, really short-sighted. It's going to take time. And the more stubborn you are, the longer it's going to take, right? The more stubborn, undisciplined, impulsive, not structured, right? Refuse to listen, refuse to watch, refuse to learn, right? Go looking at other things and looking for magic bullets, right? The more of that you do, the longer it's going to take for you to be profitable because you're just going to be chasing your tail like a dog, right? Just keep it simple, right? I'm not I'm done trading, right? I'll do some one-on-ones this morning with the people that I coach, and that's it. I'll work on some deals, work on some consulting, but I'm not going to trade until after the Fed. Exactly, AO. That's exactly it. Yeah, a lot of people feel like they're not having any progress by not being in the market, and that is really, really hard to understand. It's really hard for people to understand that sometimes you have to sit and watch, right? Maybe what it is that you should understand that you don't have any capital and that you're a very, very small fish and you're going to have to only take what you can get. And sometimes there's nothing to get. I know it sounds rude, right? But hey, that's business. There's no sugarcoating it, right? There's no participation awards in trading, right? Sometimes you are going to get destroyed. Sometimes, if your risk is out there, sometimes you're not going to make any money. A lot of the time you're going to be frustrated, but that's how this business is, right? I've spent years watching, right? It's a skill, and it's going to take some time to develop that skill. We try in our room to help you reduce the amount of time, but everyone's different, and all I can do is just keep trying. You know, just show up every day and put in the work, folks. That's all you got to do, right? And you got to work through the frustration. Embrace the suck, as Goggins would say. You got to embrace the suck. All right, folks, I will let you go a little early as we are slowing to a crawl here. Have a good morning. Try and be smart. If you're having any kind of issues, and you're over trading and you think you've got an addiction, please get some help. We will see you later on at 9 a.m. Come see us at the Trading Syndicate and we'll teach you how to do this. And hopefully, we'll teach you how to save your money too. Thanks, folks. Have a wonderful morning. Bye for now.